And welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show with me, Travis McGhee from FuturesANIMal. Hello, my friend.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah?
I'm doing really well, except that I'm scared.
For Thanksgiving?
No, not for, well, that too. Yes, actually, the truth is I am scared for Thanksgiving.
I'm a little scared, yeah.
But no, the thing I'm scared about is I got your email this morning, and I read the bottom of it, which is the first time I've read it. I read the small print. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. Risk disclosure. The risk of loss in trading commodity futures and options could be substantial. Before trading, you should carefully consider your financial position to determine if futures trading is appropriate. When trading futures and/or options, it is possible to lose the full balance of your account. It is also possible to lose more money than your initial deposit when trading futures and/or granting or writing options. As a result, selling/writing uncovered options exposes the seller/writer to the possibility of margin calls and virtually unlimited risk. All funds committed should be purely risk capital. Past performance is no guarantee of future trading results. It scares me.
It's scary.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
But should I be?
No, I mean, it's, you know, that's a common risk disclosure that any brokerage firm has to use.
Right.
But, you know, other than it being just a standard boilerplate risk disclosure, it's important for investors to know and to understand. You know, just like with investing in stocks or investing in a home, you know, what is the most risk that you're exposed to? Well, you're exposed to that stock either going to zero, or you're exposed to the home, the valuation of the home going to zero. Is it realistic? Well, it depends on what you're talking about. Certainly, what you're talking about in regards to a stock, you know, I would highly doubt that the value of a home could go to zero. I mean, that means that the land is virtually worthless. But
something awfully bad is going to happen. Chernobyl next to you.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. It has to be pretty bad. But you know, it's important to understand, and this is something that you and I have talked about time and time again, and understanding the risk involved with investing.
Right.
And that comes in a lot of different forms. You know, whether it's, you know, understanding risk involved with purchasing a home, understanding the risk involved with purchasing stocks, understanding the risk involved with purchasing bonds.
Right.
Whatever the case may be, understanding risk makes you a more knowledgeable investor, and it helps you control that investment over time.
And the first question that we should approach when we're thinking about this is?
When you're thinking about it, so investors or folks starting out investing tend to do it the wrong way initially.
Yeah.
You know, they put the cart ahead of the horse, or vice versa. People tend to focus in on returns, rather than understanding what the risk is and what they're comfortable with as far as risk. Whereas you should be doing it the other way around. So, you know, let's say I'm going to get started in investing, and I'm looking at, you know, the funds that I have available, or maybe the funds that I have exposed to the market. I should look at that and say, you know what, Travis, what am I comfortable losing?
Right.
What am I comfortable losing?
Yeah, not what am I trying to get.
Not what am I trying to get, what am I comfortable losing? Because if you understand what you're comfortable losing, that will direct you towards the investments that are appropriate for you. Otherwise, if you're only looking at returns, very often folks will get themselves involved with an investment not completely understanding the risk involved, but only seeing the return side.
And the risk is more than they can cope with.
And the risk is more than they could stomach. And you know, it's hard to make that assessment, because very few people really understand what they're comfortable stomaching until it actually happens.
Right.
So you know, let's just use a $100,000 portfolio, and you take 2009 for example. You know, and if you're invested in the market, even at that time, if you were invested in blue chip stocks, you know, which is, you know, portrayed to be a safer part of the market, you know, you could have seen at least a 30 to 50% drawback in that $100,000. So at a, you know, what was $100,000, you open up your account, it's $50,000.
Wow.
That was a lot for people to stomach, and you had a lot of people selling at that $50,000 level, just saying, you know what, I give up. I'm done. Yeah. You know, rather than kind of riding the waves out, which the market tends to do, and
which you can only do if you're feeling comfortable, like if you're able to sleep at night, right? Which is what we talk about often.
Or if you're able to understand all the different factors that affect your investment. So you understand your time frame, you understand the risk involved, you understand the returns involved, so on and so forth. And that's what I tell a lot of folks, especially some of our younger investors. I have a lot of folks who come to us and they're just interested in knowing more about their 401k and should they be changing things around and so on and so forth. And more times than not, my response to them is, just stick to the plan. Don't change anything. People tend to think that their investment plan just kind of slopes like this over time. It's just a nice flat line. The trajectory slowly slopes higher as they get older and they consistently make money. Whereas the market doesn't necessarily work that way. That line looks more like this.
Yeah,
It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. There is a lot of volatility. So you have to kind of take that emotional aspect out of the game and just understand that I have a plan, I've set that plan, I'm at this age, this is my time frame, I'm going to ride this thing through.
Because looking back at it over a long period of time, it does look like a nice gradual line, even if it does have all that in it.
Exactly. So a lot of those folks who stayed in the game and left their investments in 2009 have seen that come back and then some since that point in time. So again, it's just important to know, what you're invested in and the time frame. And what I mean by what you're invested in, because again, if you were in an individual stock in 2009, let's say you were in Bear Stearns, well, that stock did go to zero.
Yeah.
So you have to understand exactly what you're doing in order to understand the returns and the risk involved.
Somebody said to me once, and I think it was pretty smart, they said, would anybody really invest in a market that was always going like this? And that's the point, is it's not always going like that. It is mostly going up.
It is
We've hit the highest numbers ever. We will continue to hit higher numbers as time goes on.
Exactly.
That is bound to happen. The valuations are going to increase. We'll always be going in the right direction, essentially. Just how fast is the question, really?
It's just how fast, and there are guaranteed to be more pullbacks in the market. There's going to be more pullbacks in the market, but you just have to understand, again, the long-term plan that you have set in place, and don't get emotional about it and make very short-sighted decisions and say, and that's, Joe, that's really the problem with the modern day and age, with the access of information on the internet, the media, all the financial networks. It tends to churn a lot of fear in people, and people make irrational, emotional decisions based off what they read.
Yeah, my kids give my wife quite a little bit of a hard time about her reaction to certain things she sees on the web, as far as foods and any kind of like a new bad chemical, anything that we might be. So it's kind of that same thing. We have to consider that same thing happens in the financial industry. There's certainly a lot of people looking to make headlines. Typically,
it's whatever the hype of the day is, and what it's unfortunate because what it's created this day trading mentality amongst 401k investors. Who are constantly moving out of mutual funds and rebalancing their portfolio based upon what they're seeing on TV or reading on the internet.
This is especially, scary when you consider the fact that we've kind of proven that day trading, unless you are, just the top-notch day trader, is not exactly a really super lucrative way of going.
It's not a super lucrative way if you're not willing to do it full time.
You have to be there all the time.
Folks ask me all the time, can I make money day trading? Absolutely, you can make money day trading, but you better be willing to do it as a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. Yeah,
a full-time job.
Because you're trading on tiny, tiny margins back and forth to get that money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the point of this discussion is investors need to have a plan, which we've said, understand risk, your risk, what are you comfortable with, what are the returns that you're looking for, and then understand your time frame. Most of us are long-term investors, and understand that. Don't get short-sighted in your decisions, don't get very emotional about what you're seeing in the market, unless obviously it is an apocalypse, which I think we're beyond that.
I think
we are too. I think things are moving on the up and up.
And I think the other thing to remember is not to get in an argument with your family over Thanksgiving over it, because everybody's going to have a different opinion.
No politics, no religion.
And no money.
And no money at Thanksgiving dinner.
Travis McGhee, I appreciate you getting it out of the way now before Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Get some ideas in mind. So, and you've been out in the slopes. He's been out 3 times already.
It's been great.
I'm a little jealous.
It's great. We need more snow, though.
Absolutely, we do, and it's coming. And of course, we've got your website up on the screen, FuturesANIMal.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Thanks
Travis
again.
McGhee. We'll be back here in just a moment. The Festival of Trees is here. They've got some great gift ideas besides a tree right after this.